The House of Commons is back, and so is Pierre Poilievre. Pierre Poilievre 2.0 is energized, razor focused, and he's on his game. But Mark Carney, on the other hand, he looked unprepared, shocked, and arrogant. We're going to take a look at the House of Commons highlights and lowlights. Oh yeah, there's some lowlights. Let's get into this report. Before we take a look at the House of Commons, we found out this morning that there was a leak. Yeah, a leak about the budget. And you're not going to believe this. The leak is that instead of having a budget as promised by Mark Carney in October, we're now hearing it's going to come in November. And the number of how big this thing's going to be. Well, last year, the number was so huge that Chrystia Freeland resigned, didn't even present us the budget. Then Justin Trudeau resigned as well. Is there going to be a resignation after we get this disaster of a budget? Let's hear from Tom Mulcair on the budget situation, the leak.
At the same time, the budget is going to be a huge problem, but don't forget, who was the Prime Minister of Canada at the beginning of 2025? Oh, that Trudeau fellow. So they'll bring in a budget probably in November, and they'll say, well, we're sort of mopping up after the Trudeau era. Our first budget will be next year, and then you'll see things will be getting better. I think that's why there's been some leaking of information around the budget, which is...
Can you believe it? And that is exactly what they're going to do. It's so infuriating. They're going to blame Justin Trudeau. Then they're also going to blame Orange Man Bad, guaranteed, and say, yeah, we're going to be fiscally responsible next year.
Actually, verboten, you're supposed to be quite careful about what you leak around the budget, but senior people have been leaking to senior journalists the fact that the deficit for this next budget will actually be double what had been predicted. So we were looking at the 45 billion range. Now we're looking at maybe it's something closer to 100 billion. Now that's probably on the high side. If it comes in at 78 billion, well, then Carney and his Liberals would get to say, well, it's not as bad as it could have been because we took all these steps to be austere and to cut back on the size of government. That's something that they're learning to be careful on. Over the weekend, Steve McKinnon, their House leader, very experienced politician whose riding is in the Ottawa area, went quite far in hinting that they would actually be cutting jobs in the civil service. That's a battle they don't want to have with the civil service unions. Carney, the same day, was out there correcting that a touch, saying, no, this is through attrition. There's the tail end of the baby boom will be leaving the civil service in large numbers, and we won't have to start firing people. So that was a message that I think should have been better prepared in advance, and it shows that there's still a little bit of practicing required on the Liberal side in terms of messaging.
Practicing on their lying. They're not going to be able to come out and say anything because they have no idea what they're doing. They can't even come out with a budget. There's no budget. Yeah, they don't know what they're doing. They're like, okay, how are we going to cut these people? What are we going to do? Oh, God. November's coming, Canada. What are they going to deliver us? It is official. Something else happened today. The mother of all data sets was dropped. Moose on the Loose has dropped his Moose chart. It got so much traffic that he had to back it up because it was overwhelmed. This is the mother lode. This chart will take down Mark Carney and the Liberals. I think he published this today, the first day back in the House of Commons, so that Pierre Poilievre has access to this chart. Somebody get Pierre Poilievre this chart right now so he could bring it to the House of Commons and take down this government. There is so much gold in this data set. If you want to take a look, go ahead to moosechart.com or go to X and go to Moose. He just published it and play around with it. This is an exciting day. Great job, David. You're making it happen, and we all thank you. And something else happened today. Nydia reached $4.33 trillion market cap, which tops Canada's GDP. It doesn't top it. Canada's GDP is $2.3 trillion, meaning it's basically double all of Canada's output. This is a tech giant in the United States is bigger, 2 times bigger than Canada. I bet you by next year, it will be worth 3 times Canada's GDP output. One tech giant is bigger than Canada's total economy. Isn't that insane? Danielle Smith came out with an announcement. There's mixed reviews. Some people are absolutely loving this. Some people are not because they're fearful about, well, we'll get into what they're fearful about, but let's take a look at the press release.
Starting in late 2026, Alberta will be the first province to implement the addition of Canadian citizenship markers to our driver's licenses and identification cards. This simple addition will have a profound impact on how Albertans interact with their government and their communities. Why are we doing this? Because we believe in making things better, faster, and more convenient for everyone. By including citizenship information on these cards, we're streamlining access to vital services, whether it's applying for student aid, accessing health benefits, or supporting those with disabilities. No longer will Albertans need to carry multiple documents or face unnecessary hurdles. This change means that when Albertans need to prove both their identity and their citizenship, they'll be able to do so with a single document. It's about reducing red tape, cutting down on paperwork, and making sure that government works for you, not the other way around. Programs like Assured Income for the Severely Handicapped, Alberta Student Aid, and the Persons with Developmental Disabilities program all require proof of citizenship. With this new marker, accessing these supports will be simpler and more secure. Adding a Canadian citizenship marker is also about protecting our democracy. Election security is a vital concern in Canada. By adding citizenship information to Alberta's driver's licenses and ID cards, we're taking a proactive step toward ensuring that only eligible citizens cast ballots in our elections. This helps safeguard the integrity of our electoral process and strengthens trust in our democracy. I also want to be clear that non-citizens, such as permanent residents, that still qualify for Alberta's driver's licenses will not have any marker displayed. Lastly, as we announced several weeks ago, we will also be integrating Alberta healthcare numbers onto driver's licenses, also in late 2026. This will also provide additional security around healthcare numbers, as we have learned through our refocusing of the healthcare system that there are more than 500,000 healthcare numbers registered than there are people living in Alberta. 530,438 to be exact, based on second quarter 2025 population estimates.
How is that even possible? I don't get it, but if it cleans that up, that sounds pretty good. Let's get into some more detail here. Here's what this thing looks like. All it is it has this little thing right here that says you're a Canadian citizen. You get your driver's license, your healthcare card. It's just a physical card. People are freaking out online thinking it's a digital ID, so they don't feel comfortable with that. I don't particularly like the digital ID. It's all control, but this makes sense where you put everything on one ID so you don't have a wallet full of different cards. It's just simple. So I believe that a lot of people in Alberta demanded this, and that's why she's doing it. Make it simple, make it easy. But you do have some people that says, get out while you can, the globalist. Danielle Smith introduces Agenda 2030 Global Digital ID and promotes it as, but the thing is, this is not that, okay? I understand we should be worried about that, but I don't believe that this is digital anything. It's just a freaking card. It's a card with a little Canada on the thing. They've already digitized all the cards. This is nothing to be fearful about, in my opinion. I could be wrong. I don't like this thing here, but I don't believe that this is that. So that's my opinion. There's some people that are fearful, saying this is something to be worried about. There's other people that says this is fantastic. What's your thought? What do you think about this? We're moving on to the House of Commons, the fireworks session. What did we learn today? First, the Liberals blocked the Conservatives' motion for a moment of silence for Charlie Kirk. Just 60 seconds they asked for. And they said no. No to Charlie Kirk. No to 60 seconds. We're not going to allow it. There's no moment of silence in our Parliament building for Charlie Kirk. So the Conservatives, they instead did a piece. And we're going to take a look at the piece. The Liberals did stand up and clap so they don't look like complete fools across Canada. But in my opinion, I wrote, this is a lack of empathy, which proves to me that they do not condemn the political V. It's absolutely disgusting to watch, in my opinion. All you need to know is they said no to Charlie Kirk. The amount of money that this man pledged, and he talked about it in the House of Commons, $360 billion in new spending, making Justin Trudeau's budget and blow up and then inflation and all the problems that we see in Canada today. He's planning on doubling all of it. He isn't saving Canada. He is the crisis. All right, one more item before I show you the House of Commons. John Flynn on X says, my insurance in Ontario went up 164% in 1 year, from $1,100 to $3,000. No claims, no tickets, 74% due to regular insurance increases. Oh boy. And 90% of the increase is due to high theft vehicles. I'm literally paying for our government's failures on crime and auto theft. Can you believe it? So they tell you to leave your keys at the front door so that when they come in, they just grab your car and drive away with it. So you lose your car. Then you pay 164% more, with 90% going towards because there's high vehicle theft. What do you expect when you just make it that easy? And now you're double paying because you're going to have to wait for the car, new car. Who knows what you're going to get for that car? You're going to have to pay a premium for getting your car stolen, I'm sure. Oh man, this is a disaster, Canada. Conservative MP Rachel Thomas from Lethbridge stood up in the House of Commons for Charlie Kirk.
Freedom of speech is the cornerstone of a free society. It means we will hear ideas that we disagree with and express views that may be offensive. This freedom can make us uncomfortable or even hurt, but silencing voices, whether for a moment or forever, is never the answer. We must protect a society where people can hold beliefs and share opinions without fear of losing their jobs, being censored, or worse. Charlie Kirk was an outspoken advocate for faith, family, and freedom. Many disagreed with him, some were offended. Tragically, on September 10th, he was assassinated in an attempt to silence his voice. But when has political violence ever been the solution? It destroys dialogue, it undermines democracy, and it breeds fear instead of understanding. True progress comes from persuasion, not intimidation. As we grapple with our personal response to this, may we be honorable in our actions. May we fiercely defend the right of our opponents to speak freely. And may we join our hearts with Charlie's family, his wife Erica, and his 2 young children. Rest in peace.
They actually stood up and claps. That is honorable, but for them to reject the minute of silence, that bothers me. Rachel Thomas did a good job and she held it together, and I applaud her for that. And guess who's back in the House of Commons? Pierre Poilievre. This is how he kicks things off.
My mother taught me never to be late, so please forgive me for my late arrival to the session. I had some meetings with extremely important people in East Central Alberta, Mr. Speaker, after which I was honored to be elected by the great people of Battle River Crowfoot. I thank the great Damien Kirk who made it possible, and I thank the Prime Minister for calling a prompt by-election. I wonder if one day he might regret that decision, but in a spirit of good faith, I wonder if he agrees that our goal should be a Canada where hard work is rewarded, where food and homes are affordable, where streets are safe, where borders are solid, and where we're all united under a proud flag.
Mr. Speaker, I'm sure I speak for all parliamentarians in welcoming the member for Battle River Crowfoot back to the House of Commons. He may notice a few things have changed since he was here last. The largest women's caucus in Canadian history. And a spirit of collaboration that was shown in the opening session, including in the passage of the Build Canada Act and the projet de loi du Bloc québécois en ce qui concerne.
And the Bloc's bill in terms of protecting supply management. I agree entirely with the sentiment and objectives of the Leader of the Opposition.
Wow, can you believe it? He stands up to say that about supply management as if that's not on the table with negotiations with Donald Trump. Are you kidding me right now? And then saying he has the most women in his caucus. Like it was all a DEI hire. His whole caucus is DEI. Nothing against women. They're very competent. Look at all the strong conservative women. But for him to come up there and say, look, I got all these women, it just doesn't look good, in my opinion. Pierre Poilievre didn't wait long to roast Mark Carney. Let's roast this man. And guess what? Mark Carney was not ready. He looked defeated, ready to run into a cave and hide.
Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister mentioned how much had changed, and it's true. I look around this place, and when I left, there was a Liberal Prime Minister who was making excuses about breaking promises, running massive deficits, costs, crime, chaos were all out of control. And whereas today, we have a Liberal Prime Minister breaking promises, making excuses, running massive deficits with costs, crime, and chaos out of control. Mr. Speaker, when will the Prime Minister match the grand promises with the real change Canadians need?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I understand the Minister, or the Minister, promotion.
He's already rattled.
Come on,
Already rattled.
I understand the Leader of the Opposition was busy. He missed the largest tax cut for 22 million Canadians.
Are you kidding me? 73 cents per day. That's the tax cut. All gobbled up from an inflation, of course. We're going to have to fork out an additional $300 or $400 just for food inflation. That is it. All the other inflation, yeah, you're falling behind with this tax cut.
We're eliminating all federal barriers to trade. He missed. I hope I'll have another opportunity to finish a very long list of what the Leader of Opposition.
Yeah, he's got nothing to say. I got this list. I got this huge list. It's so huge, I'm going to sit back down because the list is finished.
The Honourable Leader of the...
Oh, and Mark Carney just went downhill from there. Check him out here.
Mr. Speaker, this government has been absolutely focused on improving affordability for Canadians. That's why the largest tax cut, 22 million Canadians, every taxpayer in this country. That's why the cut to the GST. That's why the launch of Build Canada Homes, which will reduce the cost of home building in this country.
Just so people know about this Canada Homes, they're promising 4,000 homes for $13 billion. That's $2.3 million per home. And these homes are 2x2 shacks. You can't make any of this stuff up. There probably includes some heat pumps. It's the most disastrous home plan ever created. And this tax cut, are you going out and buying steak every day like life is so affordable from their tax cut? I haven't seen a dime.
That's why we back the CRTC to get broadband costs down for Canadians. We are building
broadband. Did you get any broadband savings? My internet bill has never been so high in my life.
The strongest economy throughout the worst crisis in our history.
Oh my God.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Do you see him sit down? He's like, oh, I don't know what to say anymore. I have nothing.
In the spirit of nonpartisanship, we are simply going to hold this Prime Minister to his own promises. He promised that he would spend less. He's already spending 8% more. He promised the budget would be in October. Now he says it will be in November, more than halfway through the fiscal year. He promised that his government would have a smaller deficit than Justin Trudeau. Instead, now we hear that it might even be double. So a trivia question. Can the Prime Minister tell us, has there ever been a Prime Minister who has successfully doubled the deficit without even introducing a budget?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
He's rattled.
Speaker, this government is undertaking the biggest investment in protecting Canadians in the Canadian military. Doubling our investment in the Canadian military from last year when this member last sat in the House by the end of this decade. This government, there's more.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
There's a lot more debt is what there is, Mr. Speaker. A lot more debt than we ever imagined would be possible. This is a Prime Minister who said we'd have the fastest growing economy in the G7. We have the fastest shrinking economy in the G7. He said grocery prices would go down. They're going up faster than ever before. He promised to create jobs. He has the second highest unemployment in the G7. He's really reminding us all of that sign at the bar. Free beer tomorrow. But you come back the next day and the beer is still not free and tomorrow never comes. Mr. Speaker, why is it that all of this Prime Minister's promises of yesterday turn into today's disappointments?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I think if we are going to build the strongest economy in the G7, and we will, we need to be clear. We need to be clear about the scale of the crisis we are in. We need to be clear about the scale of investment that we need. $60 billion in new projects announced last week. $200 billion in investment announced last week. $100 billion in housing investment announced just yesterday. That's the scale of what we need.
Holy crap. 60 plus 200 plus 100. That's $360 billion. Oh my. I can't with this guy. And he's flaunting like it's something that's good. This is not good, Canada. This is not good. Where is all that money going to come from? It's coming from you. It's coming from me. Inflation is going to explode. And we have the Bank of Canada that's going to be doing an interest rate announcement this week. They're probably going to be cutting with inflation that's elevated. This is going to tank the loonie. Oh boy. We got to take a look at Yves Blanchet because he's bang on. Our number one customer is the United States, and all these projects of national interest are going to take 5 to 10 years to pan out. We need to figure this out now.
The Prime Minister's rare presence in Washington, both in terms of the U.S. administration and the economic troubles, well, his absence was noted a great deal in Washington. When did he go for the last time to Washington, and when will the PM start seriously going to the capital city of our main partner and make it a priority, rather than talking about infrastructure that won't even be put in place until the end of Mr. Trump's term? The Right Honourable Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, the U.S. President is a modern man. I speak with him regularly. We send each other text messages. But what's the most important right now for Canada is to diversify our trade internationally with Europe, in Asia, with Africa, and South America. Thank you.
Holy crap, guys. He's texting Donald Trump. I want to see those text messages. I don't believe they're texting, or they're giving themselves smiley faces and stuff. I don't believe that he has texted anybody. What are they texting? Oh, Donald Trump, I saw you today. You're doing so good in America. And then he says right after that, he said, forget the U.S. We're trying to diversify. We're going to start trading with Africa. Oh, man, this is so bad. This is the worst opening day for the Liberals and Mark Carney. This is so bad, everybody. Holy crap. I got one more clip for you. And yeah, I got to show you Squeaky. Squeaky is back, but it's going to start off with Melissa, and then we're going to see Squeaky.
The Prime Minister told Canadians that they should judge him by the prices they pay at the grocery store. But food inflation is 70% above target. The grocery prices are up 40% in less than a decade, and all of those years the Liberals were in power. And the cost of food has risen overall more than inflation every single month that this Prime Minister has been here. Canadians should judge the Prime Minister by his words. That's only fair. But Is it that he never shops for food, or is it that he thinks inflation is something that happens to other people?
Yeah, way to go.
The Honourable Minister of Housing and Infrastructure.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Again, we'll come back to the number one cost for Canadians and concern is around affordability of housing.
That's so true.
I know the Conservatives and the members.
No, it's not. Housing is a massive problem, but most families across this country, if you have a roof on your head, you're renting or whatever, food is the biggest issue right now. Try to go buy a piece of steak. Go get a bag of coffee. There are some people that are eating Kraft dinner once a day, and that is it. There's 2 million people in the food bank. People are not able to feed themselves. This is a red alert. And this gentleman here, well, he's not a gentleman to me. He's Gregor Robinson, our housing minister, says housing is our number one thing right now.
Office that do not care about affordable housing. We're here to take action on it. Make life more affordable for Canadians, starting with their homes. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Honourable Member for Thornhill.
The minister cannot ignore the problem of millions of Canadians using a food bank every single month, and that hasn't changed. It happened under this Liberal government's watch, and now they're making excuses or changing the subject entirely. Canadians are getting fleeced at the grocery store, and it's only going to get worse because next year their bill will be $700 higher per family. That's another Liberal broken promise, another Liberal bait and switch by another Liberal Prime Minister. So is that the experience that he's now promising Canadians?
Yeah, way to go,
L'Honourable Ministre des Finances.
The Honourable Minister of Finance.
We listen to Canadians, something that the Conservative may want to do a bit more. And what Canadians have told us, Mr. Speaker, is affordability is the first concern. The second is housing, and the third is the economy. What have we done, Mr. Speaker, while the leader was away? The first thing we did for Canadians was to reduce taxes for 22 million Canadians, Mr. Speaker. Everyone got a raise on Canada Day, Mr. Speaker. The second thing, we removed GST on first-time home buyer, Mr. Speaker. And we are going to build with Canadians, with every Canadian, the strongest economy in the G7. That's what this Liberal government is about.
Oh, man. Squeaky's the worst. He is so bad. Give me my notes. Where's my notes? Strongest economy in the G7. Oh, middle-class tax cut of 5 cents. Oh, and, oh, yeah, GST on home that are like $5 million. This is just all a joke. That's it for today's report. Wow, there are so many news items. It looks like the Liberals are doing what Liberals do best. They just gaslight us, talk about their talking points, saying we're making life so affordable, but they have never lived a day in our lives ever before, because when we tell them that we can't afford food, they say, we gave you a tax cut. What do you mean? I gave you 95 cents. What did you do with that 95 cents? What did you do with your 95 cents? Our gas prices are all the way up. I saw almost $2 a liter in Vancouver last week. It's down to $1.78, but it's going back up to $2 for sure. These Liberals, they always know how to make things more expensive. I look forward to providing you guys all of these reports. I'll see you tomorrow on the next report.